Hello, everyone. Welcome to Anthropology 120, Biological Anthropology. Here's the spring term of 2021. And my name is Professor Mercer, and I'll be teaching the course this term. All right. So in this brief video, we're going to talk about how to get going in the course, the basic elements of getting you started. And to begin, we can talk a little bit about some of the materials that you're going to need for the course. First, for the lab sections, there's nothing special that you need to have at home. There's nothing I'm going to have you buy. There are just two books which you need to have. So let's start out with those. To begin, there is the laboratory manual, this one right here. In the introduction video that I have in Module 1, I explain this also, but as long as you're looking at it, I'll do this very quickly. This one is by Suluri and Agarwal. Make sure you get the second edition. The first edition will not work. This book was completely overhauled about 3 years ago. So one is not compatible with this one. I wish it was because it's a little bit cheaper, but it's not. It doesn't matter which form you get it. You can get in the hard copy or a soft copy like this one, or you can get a digital copy. It doesn't matter, or a rental. None of the stuff is going to be destructive on these books you're doing. You're not going to be tearing anything out and handing them in to me. So you can give these things right back to them. So just figure out which is your most economical sort of thing for yourself. We're not going to be delving into this book for several weeks. So, 2 or 3 weeks from now, you have that kind of time to actually get this one. Now let's look at the next book for the laboratory. And this one's The Story of Earth by Robert Hazen. And by the way, the ISBNs on those, if you need those numbers, are in the syllabus. So I had those listed there, so they're available. Another book here. This was a very inexpensive book. I think full board retails like 18 bucks. We're going to need this right away. So we're going to be kind of hitting the ground with it. So try to get as fast as possible, and I think it's used at like half this price, or 10, 11 bucks. So, fast as possible. If you haven't gotten the book now, you have, 5 or 6 days, to put it out there in Amazon and get it delivered for a reasonable price. But the faster you get this book, the better off you can be, so you don't have to start playing catch up. Okay, so those are the two for the laboratory component. And the single text we're going to be using, the one at least you have to purchase, is this one right here, The Story of the Human Body. It's really not a text, which is really why I like it. It's a story, because textbooks are boring. And this one, I'll tell you what, it's almost a story. It's a semi-text, but it has to. There's a lot of factual information on it. But I've chosen it because it's very readable. It should be a little bit more enjoyable than most texts you've had. So this one by Daniel Lieberman is available everywhere. And the prices are, I found all over the place. Full board retail is like 16 bucks, but I've seen this as low as like 3 or 4 bucks out there on some of the websites. And I want you to take time to shop for this. We're not going to need it for at least a month and a half maybe. So, find it your best deal, but don't forget about it. Many students like, oh, I forgot to get the book, because I've said you don't have to have it for so long, but please don't, forget about it. And all of a sudden you need it, and now you're having to wait for it to sort of come in. All right. So those are the 3 books of the courses. Now, other material I'm going to have on the website, which is stuff I'm going to post. Some small little things I think are really short papers, sort of fill in some of the gaps, that stuff. So I'll supply all that stuff. I can get around. I've been able to get around copyright by just taking chunks and little pieces of here out of there and sort of piecing them together into little things that actually make really good sense for us without getting into really huge, extensively large textbooks. Okay, so that's it for the books for the course. Now, next, the course itself. All of you are under one umbrella for the lecture, and it's just for the lab sections, to make it easy and more manageable to speak with people and to work on with people. We've split it into 2 different sections. Those of you who are either in the Mondays or the Wednesdays, right? I'll explain how this is going to work. Now, I've extended the times at which we're going to meet, and I've put an announcement out for you. So right now, not only do we meet on Mondays and Wednesdays, either at 10 to 10:50, but also you can choose. If you don't want to do it that time, you can just come in and chime in between 7 and 7:50 in the evening. So I'm going to be there both times on Mondays and Wednesdays. So if you can actually mix, what I mean by mix these things, like if you're a Monday person, you can't get to the Monday lab, you're welcome to go to the Wednesday lab. Okay? And chime in on those lectures if you can't make it in a particular week there. It always usually balances out. We never end up overloading any one class or the other. And the same thing for Wednesday, folks. If you forecast ahead in the week that you're not going to be able to attend on a Wednesday, then try to get to one of the two that are going to happen on the Monday. But here's the thing for Wednesday people. If you decide that you can't make that Wednesday, you can't wait till next Monday because you've missed an entire week of information. The next week's all brand new stuff. So if you're trying to say, if you're forecasting your week, I won't be able to be online on a Zoom meeting for my lab class on Wednesday, then you need to get to it on the Monday, okay? Now, what'll happen though, if you, in these situations where a real emergency comes up, you're sick, family stuff happens, bad things happen in life, reach out, let me know. And we can do a one-on-one. I don't mind doing that every once in a while. And then we can spend 45 minutes to half an hour talking about the things that are happening in the lab, right? And I can help catch you up with that. So I don't mind that whatsoever. Okay. Now, something about the Zooms themselves. When we're doing a Zoom session, especially in this type of course when it's combined, what the administration didn't do is they didn't partition a separate Zoom section for the lecture and for the lab. So I actually believe, and I feel wholeheartedly, the lecture section should have some sort of FaceTime, some sort of like Zoom session for you. But since they didn't put one in the course, what we're going to do is sort of combine it with the labs. So during the lab Zooms, I'm going to be talking a lot about what's happening in the lecture, as well as what's going on in the lab, and try to help integrate that stuff. And I think that's really important for us to do. So we're going to spend that time doing sort of both. So you can bring your questions, your concerns for the entirety of the lectures and labs in those Zoom sections. All right. Next, the Zoom sections begin on the 20th. So we're going to hit the ground sort of running. It's the first day of class. So if you're a Wednesday lab person, plan on being there on the Wednesday. If you can, of course, you can try to get to the next Monday. That'll be fine. And if you're a Monday person who's just interested in seeing what's going to happen in the class, and you want to see it early, well, you can join in on the Wednesday, tomorrow section if you'd like to. Okay. Okay. Moving on. For those of you that are DSS students, I've already received some of the information from the DSS office about your special needs. If you're afraid that they haven't sent you anything or I'm going to forget about you, always give me an announcement or give me a little text or an email or something and let me know who you are and what you need. Okay. I don't need to wait for those guys. I can verify that stuff later, but I want to make sure that you're taken care of and what you need to do. So get a hold of me directly on that stuff. Okay. Because I don't want any mistakes for you happening this year. And I know what it's like to feel slighted where people just forget about you and you don't get the accommodations in which you need. All right, now rest of getting started in the course is this. When you look at the syllabus, and this is the thing, we're going to be discussing the syllabus during our first Zoom meetings. I want you to look at my contact information and write that down someplace. In my email, you will be able to get, of course, to Canvas announcements to me all the time, but also write down my cell phone number. That's the one which you can get to me almost all the time. Either you can do it by voice or by text. And additionally, the reason I want you to have that number too is that when you're reading materials, and I want you to really think about this, when you're reading materials and you may be stuck on something, if you don't get an answer to that and you put it down and it go away, those are the things that just leave your mind. So I want you to think about this. When you're having a problem understanding something, who do you call? Me. Or you text me right away. So I'm going to be available as much as I possibly can for you. I'm up and going by 8 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm good, really good to about 8 p.m. And that is sort of fade out. And I'm really not very good after 8 p.m. Although some students have asked me, I don't get off work till I don't get home till I'm 11. Could I text you then? Yeah, it's just my answers might not be as coherent. And after 11, I'm totally asleep. All right. So I'm just letting you know. Weekends, yes. So I'm serious about the weekends. You can try to get a hold of me. I don't mind calls coming on the weekend or texts coming on the weekend. It's just I have kids. I have stuff I'm running around doing with them all the time. So if I'm busy with an activity, I won't be able to take your call. But if you do call on the weekends, leave a text message about what the issue is, or leave a voice or a text about what the issue is, and I will get back to you maybe sometime later in the weekend when my schedule during that time frame opens up. All right. So from here, I want you to look at the syllabus. And also at the very top of module number 1, there's an introductory assignment, and it's a meet and greet. And this needs to be done by this Saturday night. And the meet and greet is just you're posting some good stuff about yourself. We'll let everybody know who you are. Let me know who you are. And maybe talking a little about some of your prior experiences in online classes, your loves and your hates. I love when you do that because I can figure out what students really don't like about online classes, right? And it really comes out as you put stuff out there, and I can figure out what not next to do next time. So it's an exercise that you do that I actually benefit from. But I want you to do this because it's 5 points. And it also lets me know if you're in the class, right? It's sort of my way of doing a roll sheet, right? And if you're not doing that in the first week, I'm assuming that someone has added the class and they forgot to drop it so I can get it off the roll sheet so it doesn't get stuck on their record. All right. All right, so that's as much as I wanted to discuss in this brief, 10-minute video. So I'll see everybody either on the labs on tomorrow, Wednesday, or in the following Monday. All right.